What's up, you guys? Today we're going to be working on this truck. We're going to get new upper control arms. These are the Missoula's, and the bushings on these are, I think they're shot because both sides are clunking, and you could actually see the control arm move and the bolt stays in place. So we're going to install these from Dirt King. They have Moog ball joints, and we're also going to do these alignment tabs. They have these little holes in them. They're way better than the factory ones that come on these trucks, because you see right here that these are just slots. So these actually get out of alignment pretty quick, especially if you're on the dirt and stuff like that. And the other ones, since they have the little holes, the pin stays in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and lift this truck up and put it on jack stands. What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna be replacing the upper control arms on the homie Roque's truck. These are the Missoula upper control arms, but they're clunky. I think the bushings are shot because we could move the control arm and the bolt stays in place. So we're gonna go ahead and pull them off. It's a Z71. This is what we're gonna be putting on there: the Dirt King upper control arm. These come with Moog ball joints, and we're also gonna be installing the Dirt King alignment tabs, because you know the tabs on these get out of alignment pretty quick. We're also testing out the new GoPro. I'm gonna go ahead and lift up the truck, put it on jack stands, and start moving the wheels. Now we have the truck up in the air, we're gonna go ahead and remove this ABS harness. We gotta remove it out of the way so we can get some slack on it and put it aside. So we have to go in here, turn on my light. So there's this clip right here that has to be pushed back. Let me see if I can do it. It's back, and then so there you go. And then you have to remove it from this. Let me see. Okay, I'll just pry this up a little bit. The clip should come off like that. And we have this right here. Another clip. Actually, this one could come off with the zip tie right here. So we're gonna cut that zip tie off. So we're putting a little pressure on the lower control arm. Now we're gonna back off the nut that holds the uniball onto the knuckle. The reason we're putting the jack under the control arm and applying pressure is because it's going to make it a lot easier to remove this nut than if it was just hanging up on the control arm. Okay, now we got to beat this either with the mallet or with something just to get it off of the knuckle. We were able to break it loose. We had to jam this in between and hit it with the hammer because we were trying everything else and it wasn't working. So next we are going to get a marker so we can mark these tabs. Let me go get it. Mark this tab, this inside tab. It's gonna be a little hard to see. And we also have to remember what tab comes from which side. This side and then this side. So with that done, we're gonna go ahead and remove both of these bolts, the one on this side and the one on this side, and the control arm should slide out. So give me a second and I'll get that done. Alright, so we were trying to remove these bolts out of the way, but they come in contact with the coilover. So we had to remove these two mounting bolts right here to swing the strut out of the way to be able to back off those bolts, because they would come in contact with the coil. So these are the control arms removed, and you can see that they had some play right here. I don't know how you guys can see it, but there's a little bit of play in here, which it shouldn't be like this. Look, you see the gap right here? You see the gap right there? So that was causing a clunky noise. So now what we're gonna do is put the Dirt King tabs on with the new Dirt King controller. So there is a right and wrong side to this. So the best way we could do it is match up the old one with the new one. You can see they have the same angle. If you put the wrong side, they'll have the angle to the opposite. So now we're gonna be able to slide this in. Well, actually we have to clean this off. I forgot to put a cardboard down here for all this. Right here. All this real good. I was gonna put the GoPro on my head, but we have the headlamp on, so that's not possible right now. And some of the grime off of here and here. So the tabs, just so the alignment tabs could sit properly on there. Okay, so for the first tab, we're gonna line it up as even as possible onto the old tab. So you can see that the white line that we made on the first tab lines up with that hole right there. So we're gonna put a little white dot on this one, just so that when we put it on, we know we're putting it on the right side. Now I have to clean more of this off because it's pretty dirty in here. Just wipe it down real good. So let me set the tabs on first, so then we could open up the control arm and slide it in. And slide in the bolts. And actually, these alignment tabs do come with instructions. So they basically say to do what we were telling you. Mark the old tabs and then line them up, and then mark the new tabs and slide them in the same place. And for the bolts, instead of putting them going out like the old ones were, you have to put them from the outside in, so the nut is on the inside and the bolt comes in through the outside. Okay, we got the tabs on except for this one. I don't know why we have it on the bolt, but we're going to insert that once the control arm is in. So this is a control arm out of the plastic, and before we put them in, we're going to put the grease fittings on. So these go on the top side of the controller like this, and then you have to just make sure that the nipple is facing outside, because if it's on the back side, I don't know how you would get the grease come back there. So you just gotta make sure that it's facing the right way. And the kit also comes with this little grease tube. I think this is like lithium grease. So we're gonna apply that to the outside and the outside and the inside of this bushing. Like right here, right there, and right there. This thing is really messy and really sticky, so you gotta be as clean as possible. I have to do that with two hands. Once I grease them up, I'm gonna slide them in and put the bolts in, and then I'll put you guys back on, because I don't want to get this all over the camera. We got the alignment tabs on, we got the bolts in as well. We got the washers on, one on each side. This one's a little stubborn. But we still got to torque that down, so we'll get back into its place once we torque that down. We're gonna leave it a little bit loose right now, and we're gonna slip the ball joint onto the knuckle. So we just noticed that these control arms come with a sticker that say driver, and I'm pretty sure the other side says passenger, so you won't get it messed up. Like that. And they do come with instructions. So for the driver's side, it says these, and then you could just put a check mark on it or whatever. Cut the upper controls. So basically the bump stop, which is already cut on this truck. And upper control arm, torque it to 85 foot-pounds. So these go to 85 foot-pounds. And then the castle nut for the ball joint goes to 81. But for that one, we're gonna be completely honest with you guys, and we're just gonna give it a couple of pulls on the wrench, because we can't get a torque wrench in there. There's no space for a torque wrench. So that one, you just gotta kind of have a feel how it gets for 81 foot-pounds. And then you insert the cotter pin, which is right here. They give you a cotter pin. They also give you some zip ties. They give you 2 zip ties, so that you can zip tie the brake line and the ABS harness to the control arm. Something like this or something, I don't know. We're gonna figure something out, because we don't want this flopping around. And the ABS has to be back on that. Alright, so on the instructions it says to zip tie the ABS line to the control arm, to this tab right here. So if we zip tie it right here, this is going to be a little stretched, not going to have a lot of play. And we think zip tying it like this should be about right. There's a little bit of slack on the brake line, and there's some slack on the ABS line. So we're just going to go ahead and zip tie the brake line to it like that. Right there. So I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown. We already torque these down to 80 foot-pounds or 85 foot-pounds, each one of these bolts, and this one was to 81 foot-pounds. We got the cotter pin in, see it right there. And for the grease fittings, we have to get some lithium grease for these bushings. We just greased the outside, but the inside needs some grease, so we're gonna try to go get some of that right now. But before, we're gonna put the wheel on, and he actually wants to get this painted, so we're gonna do that on a future video. We're gonna have to paint the calipers, the bracket, and the rotor, because there's some rust on there. So let me go ahead and throw on the wheel so that we can get this truck off of the jack stand. So we just finished installing the passenger side. This side did have a it said pass sticker on this side for the passenger side. We greased up the ball joints on this side and the upper control arms. We were able to find the super lithium grease for those up there. We just gotta wipe off a little bit of grease that's on there. But this wheel's about to go back on, and then we should be done, and there should be no more clunking. Let me get this wheel installed, and we'll take it around the block, make sure that the noises are gone. So we took the truck around the block and we didn't notice any weird noises, so I think the clunking noise is gone. But we're gonna have to wait until he gets here so he can test drive it. This truck is on 22s and the tires are 33 by 12.5. It's pretty sharp. That's it for this video. Make sure to check us out on Instagram at @Yonke_OXC Films. I'll leave that in the description down below. I'll catch you in the next one.